The sky split open, full action, first-person dark sci-fi cinematic. I never believed a sky could scream, but that was exactly what it felt like when the atmosphere above us ripped apart. One moment, the battlefield was lit only by burning wreckage and the dying glow of collapsing drones. The next, a white crack split the heavens like a fracturing glass. The sound was not thunder. It was deeper, older, something that vibrated against the bones inside my chest. I remember gripping my rifle tighter as the cloud spiraled upward, pulled toward the widening tier. Wind blasted across the ruins, lifting metal debris like leaves. Even the alien machines, unstoppable. Mechanical predators built for war, froze for the first time, their red senses all turning toward the sky as if they, too, recognized the arrival of something far above their rank. The tier expanded until it looked like a gateway, a burning ring, a cosmic wound. Through it, something enormous began to descend. Not a ship, not a creature. Something in between. It twisted like liquid metal, shaping itself with impossible precision, folding space around its own edges. My visor cracked from the radiation blasts pulsing off it, but I didn't dare look away. My squad, already bruised, exhausted, half dead from Part 3's battle, gathered behind the broken wall with me. Even Commander Serin, the toughest soldier I had ever known, whispered a curse under her breath as the colossal object lowered through the tier and shadowed the entire valley. We thought the aliens we'd been fighting were the main enemy. We were wrong. They were just the scouts, pawns thrown ahead to soften resistance. The real war was arriving now. The ground shook as the Titan landed. Every step it took reshaped the earth, like gravity itself bent under its feet. Its skin, if you could call it that, glowed with shifting hexagonal patterns, each panel rewriting itself like a living hologram. I raised my rifle, though deep down I knew it was useless. You can't kill a storm by shooting a bullet into the wind. Still, fear makes you hold on to whatever hope you have left. When the Titan's head rotated toward us, its eyes lit with twin spirals of cold white fire. The drones that had been attacking us seconds earlier suddenly knelt, like soldiers bowing to a god. Serin shouted for us to fall back, but before we could move, the Titan raised one arm and fired a beam of compressed gravity. It didn't explode. It didn't burn. It simply removed matter. Everything in its path folded inward like paper sucked into a vacuum. Rocks, drones, metal, and even light bent toward a single point. Had we been a few meters closer, our bodies would have torn apart before we even felt pain. I threw myself behind an overturned transport pod, Serin and the others crawling close behind. The beam carved a trench kilometers long across the battlefield. My ears ranged. My breath shook. Every instinct screamed to run, but there was nowhere left to run to. The Titan had blocked our only escape route. Then something happened that none of us expected. A second tier opened in the sky. Darker, sharper, pulsing like the heartbeat of a dying star, and through it descended another entity. Smaller, sleeker, shape-shifting. As it fell, the alien machines began scrambling away in panic. Even the Titan paused, turning its massive head upward. The new arrival hit the ground like a meteor, sending a shockwave of blue light through the valley. At first, I thought it was another enemy, but then it spoke. Not with sound, not with words, but directly into my mind. Human, stand up. The voice felt ancient, layered, filled with 1,000 memories that weren't mine. Serin grabbed my arm, but it was too late. I was already rising to my feet. The smaller entity approached me, its form shifting from metal to light to something like flesh. It stopped a few meters away and took on a humanoid shape, though its face was carved from energy and darkness. You've seen the scouts. You've survived a machine horde, but this, its glowing hand gestured toward the Titan, is a world devourer, and it will not stop unless it is stopped now. I swallowed. How? Our weapons can't hurt it. Nothing can. The entity tilted its head, studying me like a scientist observing an interesting flaw in an experiment. Not your weapons, it said, but something you carry. My heart froze. I knew exactly what it meant. The artifact, the crystalline sphere I found in part 2. The one that had burned marks into my palm. The one I had hidden from command because I didn't understand it, and because I feared what it might turn me into. The entity raised its hand, and the artifact pulsed inside my chest pocket like a heartbeat syncing with mine. "You were chosen without knowing," it whispered. "But destiny doesn't need your permission." The Titan roared, a sound like collapsing planets, and charged its gravity weapon again. The sky rippled. Air turned heavy. Saren shouted at me to get down, but the entity stepped between me and the beam, raising its arms. The world inverted. Gravity died. The battlefield lifted into the air, rocks, dust, bodies, floating like we were underwater. The Titan's beam struck a barrier of swirling light formed by the entity. Sparks of dimensional energy scattered across the sky, ripping holes in space. My chest burned as the artifact activated on its own, glowing through my armor. I felt something tearing inside my mind, but not in a painful way. More like a door opening after being locked for centuries. "Aiden," the entity's voice echoed inside me. "Together." And then everything exploded. The barrier shattered. Waves of pure energy shot outward. I was thrown backward into the air, spinning, my vision bursting with white and violet static. My body borne it, my veins lighting like circuitry. I tried to scream, but no sound left my throat. When I hit the ground, the world felt different. Sharper. Brighter. Like I could see every particle of dust suspended around me. The artifact floated above my chest, glowing like a newborn star. The entity stood beside me, its form stabilizing again. "The Titan will attack again," it said. "This time, you will answer." I could feel power building inside me. Ancient. Terrifying. Like tapping into a vein of cosmic lightning. The Titan lowered its arm, charging for a second shot. But before it could fire, I raised my hand. Light erupted from my palm. Not a blast, not a beam. Something deeper. A wave of gravitational distortion, controlled, focused, that slammed into the Titan's chest and actually pushed it backward. The alien machines watching from the mountains scattered like insects. Saren stared at me with wide eyes, unable to process what she was seeing. The Titan roared again and began firing multiple gravitational beams. The mountain behind us vaporized. The atmosphere screamed as pressure waves tore through it, but the entity beside me lifted its arms, forming a shield, and I added my strength to it. Our combined force bent the beams away, turning them into spiraling ribbons of distorted space. One beam cut through the clouds, slicing a permanent scar across the sky. I felt something shift inside my chest, a surge of heat, like molten metal bleeding into my bloodstream. The artifact responded, syncing with my heartbeat. Suddenly, I wasn't just reacting, I was directing. I stepped forward, then another. Each step felt like walking through liquid gravity. The Titan detected the rise in power and recalibrated, plates of armor shifting like scales. It charged forward, shaking the earth. Trees uprooted. Rocks launched into the air, but I held my ground, lifting both hands this time. The artifact detonated with light. A shockwave vaporized debris around me. Air curved. The Titan stumbled, and then, for the first time, it hesitated. The entity's voice echoed inside me. "Now, human, show it what you have become." I roared, not with fear, but with something primal awakening inside me. My vision turned white gold. My arms felt weightless. Every instinct screamed unleash the energy building inside me. I did. The beam that erupted from my hands tore across the valley, carving a trench of molten earth. The Titan tried to counter with gravitational shields, but they shattered under the force. Armor peeled off its body. Its legs buckled. It sank to one knee, still fighting, still refusing to fall. I kept pushing. My bones felt like they were cracking. My heart pounded so loud it drowned out the explosions around me. The artifact burned hotter than the sun, fusing with my armor. with my skin, with my mind. The Titan let out one final, furious roar and collapsed. Its body hit the ground like a collapsing meteor. Waves of dust and fire blasted outward, throwing me backward. I slid across the broken soil, coughing, every muscle trembling. The entity approached me, its gaze dimming with something like pride. "You survived your awakening," it said quietly, "but the true war is still coming." I barely managed to lift my head. "All this, and it's not even the real enemy." The entity's voice darkened. "The world devourer was merely a guardian. The one who built it has noticed you." A cold chill ran through my spine. Noticed me. Why? The entity stared into the fading fracture in the sky. Because you just became powerful enough to threaten him.